Hello and welcome to a Fab Journey, 3 Armories and a Barber. Yes, that's the title this week. And hi, I'm Paul, the guy who is on a Fab Journey, not a Flab Journey. Yeah, I might be getting putting on a bit of weight, but not that much yet, folks. So, look, it's been a busy week. We made it to 3 Armories this week. And I said the Armories in Hamilton were going to be just kind of working regular. There'll be treat Armories, but hey, we made them both again. Also this week, I got a haircut. Now, stay with me, okay, on this one. I know this is there is a flesh and blood connection. Look, as with all barbers do, they ask you how you're getting on, and so I kind of mentioned that I've been playing this new card game called Flesh and Blood, and he mentioned he actually had heard of it and also plays Magic. So we talk about cards while I got my haircut. Afterwards, because this was in his kind of, he's got like a hut. Or sorry, a cabin on his property where he cuts people's hair. So he dashed back to the house and brought the flesh and blood cards up that his brother had given him. So so we had a quick look through, and I noticed that he had a couple of nice cards in there. So initially lots of commons and rares, and then look, there's a Findel's heart in there. Scab skin leathers and tectonic plating as well. Look, the crowd from Taronga did not believe me, so I had to go back, phone up, say, "Hey, look, I'm going to come back and take a photo." And so I took a photo of the cards, and there is Levi with me holding the cards up. So yes, going to have to get him down to an armory now to show off and actually use those cards, because there's like $600 worth of cards he's holding there in those 3 cards. He didn't really know what he had until I showed it to him, which was kind of cool. So yeah, look, and between me cutting my hair and me going back again a couple of hours later, he'd already watched a game that had been streamed online and been doing a bit of a deep dive into learning about the old cards, which was kind of cool for that. Anyway, let's go on to this week's update, and we had the news up this week. A couple of items there, mainly about what's going to be in the prize packs for Road to Nationals. I've got to say that those in the palm of your hand cards, would like a couple of those for my deck. That'd be really kind of nice. And then also for the ProQuest for Las Vegas, a couple of those Bittering Thorns for my daughter's deck wouldn't go amiss either. So yeah, definitely looking forward to those events already next year. And we'll see how many of those we'll actually get to, but and if we actually win any of those cards. But yes, it would be nice to get down there and play in those tournaments. Emptying the wallet. Look, last week was a tad pricey with the old deck boxes and stuff. So this week was much more reserved. Obviously not talking about the kind of the petrol and drinks, but this week it was just entries for events. So $15 for each of us at Card Merchant Hamilton and Gaming DNA, and then $6 for each of us at Gateway Games. That stands up to $72 just in entry fees to these things. But look, we did get 10 booster packs and 6 gem packs as part of that as well. So you wouldn't get 10 packs and 6 gem packs. So you get at least your money's worth in cards. Never mind the entry into that one. Look, this post is coming out a little late, so I'm going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour, and also got 3 armories worth of games to get through. So look, it's not going to be in great detail this week, I'm afraid. So first up, on the Tuesday night, we were over in Card Merchant Hamilton, and look, they had decided to do a Blitz Armory because of the skirmish that was coming up at the weekend that they were hosting. And so, look, I thought about building out a Tough Nut deck because we do have a rock that I'd like to play and use. But in the end, I did the sensible thing and just cut down my Pallades Classic Constructor deck. Unfortunately, my daughter can't do that because she's Ira, and Ira has Living Legend in the in Blitz, and so she took an Aurora Armory deck and just broke that down. So yeah, not the strongest deck by any stretch for her, so she didn't particularly enjoy playing that one. Look, first off, I'm going to draw against Arachne, which is my first up, which is not what you kind of expect against Arachne, but it's not the first time that Etty and I have drawn a game. Let's be honest about this. So yes, another draw game with Etty there. Then I faced Jetty playing Data Doll. boy, this was an interesting experience. There was so much stuff going on. Look, I did survive the first round of boom grenades threats, so I managed to get those to run out of steam by blocking everything for a couple of rounds. But look, I couldn't block everything in the end, and I was mainly left with swinging my hammer. Let's be honest. I did manage a 12 attack with Colossal Bearing, but of course that needs 13 to tower, and so unfortunately that the on hit didn't activate there. Look, I did lose in the end, but I did get worried at times with the old Pallades auras there, scaring me, thinking, "Oh, something big was actually coming." In the final round, I did beat Andrew playing Acilio. Look, a couple of big hits, and look, he doesn't block, does he, Acilio? So a couple of 12 hits, it was enough to see me through on that one and get a win, which was nice at the end of the night there. Next up was the gaming DNA for their armory, which was back to a classic constructed for that one. And finally, a game that Hetty and I played that didn't end up in a draw. Hetty was playing Verdance this time. Look, I did manage to get them down to 2 life, but that went back up to 11 by the end. So yeah, I just couldn't. I only got attacked once during the whole game, which meant that all my armor, which needs to be attacked or needs to be used in defense to actually activate, and that couldn't get used. So look, I was definitely learning there that I need more arcane block, and there's no point having armor that requires you defending if you're going to not get attacked. Next up was Prison. Look, Nick is very good at this, and so it's always a tough game. Look, I got lucky the first time I played him in that I did get it close. But look, this is the end state of his. If you're on the video, the end state of his deck. I mean, look, there's just a stupid number of auras and angels out there on the board, plus the library as well, which I couldn't get rid of. So look, I did make a mistake early on, and that I just mentally switched off at that point, to be honest with you. But look, even if I had been mentally switched on, this was not a game I was going to win. Anyway, but yeah, that wasn't the most fun game. I'll be honest with that one. Finally, I had a bit of fun race with Dexter, who was playing Rhinar. Look, this was close. He was down to 3 life when he finished me off. But it was pointed out to me afterwards that I had misused my equipment, and that I should have been blocking with cards when I could rather than with armor, and I should have saved that for when there was going to be intimidated and dominated, because obviously you can't intimidate and dominate armor. So that was really a bit of a learning curve there as well on that one for that matchup going forwards. Look, I did get some good hits in with Crush Confidence and Thump, but it wasn't enough in the end, and I did lose all 3 games on the night there. Finally, on Friday, we went over to Armory for Gateway Games for the final Armory down in Tauranga. And I started off with the buys. There was an uneven number of players in this one, 9 for this one, in what was actually our least diverse meta for a long time. So I'll tell you about that in a bit. Round 2, my first game was up against ET, who was playing Verdance. Look, I got into rhythm of things pretty early on, which was very good, and was able to pretty much swing big pretty regularly. Also, I got good disruption with things like a good clean fight, CNC, and Thump, which slowed his game plan down. Now, you might not think of a good clean fight as being disruptive, because it just removes when it's attacking, it just removes the kind of the text from cards that are defending. But look, when you try and decompose, that is disruptive, because you can't decompose those cards now. And I threw enough damage that I got the win, which I was very happy with in that one. Round 3, up against KO, and look, I haven't lost so far, so I'm up for the Armory win potentially. With the 3 of us at that point had not lost. Obviously, I had a buy, so in that first one, so cheating a little bit there. Look, we both won big hits, but Blood Rush got him the tempo, and I lost that one, unfortunately. So there we go. It was getting late, so we dipped out, because it was a 4th round with 2 people, I think, at that point, still on being unbeaten. But yeah, we dipped out. So I don't know if Declan with KO managed to get his first ever Armory win, but I'll find out next Friday. On the cardboard side of things, look, first up on Tuesday, we were lucky that we got given a whole bunch of bulk from the Hunted, as someone opened a Hunted box. You can see in the picture there, most of the cards came to us, because obviously the common and rares all came to us. So that was kind of cool. That bulks out our ability for I guess silver age decks and stuff going forwards. Also at Gaming DNA, I was very lucky to be gifted a play set of Cries of Encore. Look, that's a card I have been needing for my Pallades deck. It will definitely help help it be a little less clunky at times. So yes, very lucky. Very lucky boy there. And we chose to get 4 history packs as our boosters at Gaming DNA. We were aiming to get Ancestral Empowerment. We're hoping to get Ancestral Empowerment for my daughter's Ira deck. We didn't, but we did pick up a Command and Conquer, which went straight into my deck, which is kind of a real nice card to get out that way. So that was cool to have one of those. Now having attended, moving on then to all the other packs we opened really were a waste of time. I didn't get anything. So yeah, so 10 packs and what's that? 6 gem packs and 1 decent card, or 1 card that we'll play with, which is Command and Conquer out of the whole lot there. So yeah, shame about that. But there we go. At least we got that 1 card. Having attended 3 Armories this week, there's lots of metas to go through. Look, now the Blitz meta was Pallades, Datadol, Arachne, Acilio, Aurora, KO twice, and Florian. Look, with Blitz being got rid of, I'm not sure there's much to say about this one, except that look, it is good that it was again pretty diverse there. But getting into more interesting ones then, Gaming DNA, we had 11 decks across 10 heroes. Again, Pallades and Ira, myself and my daughter. Prism, that one that beat me. Jarl, Syndra, Verdance, Rhinar twice, Max, Kasai, and Gravy. So Acilio, Bolton, and Puffin bowing out that we had there last week, and in comes Max, Kasai, and Gravy. So look, a 30% turnover, nearly. That's pretty cool. Because it keeps the meta fresh at these armories, and also very diverse. You're not having to play the same person or the same hero over and over again. So that was very cool. Shame I didn't get to play Max though. I've still not played Max yet, which would have been kind of cool. And also, look, having a non-meta hero like Max there getting played, I think is also very cool. Gateway Games. Now this was not diverse at all. 6 heroes across 9 decks. How? We had 4 Iras. Yeah, so this was not 4 Iras: Florian, Verdant, Arachne, Pallades, and KO. No Syndra, no Gravy. None of the kind of so-called so 2 of the kind of the so-called top heroes not there in a non-diverse one. Yeah, we lost Gravy, Vincent, Prism, and Puffin from last time. Picked up a Florian, KO, Arachne, and an Ira. Actually, we actually picked up 2 Iras because one of the people who was playing Ira last week brought their Florian deck along this week. So we could have had 5 Ira. Now look, this isn't because we've got lots of new players who are all playing the Ira Armory deck. These are all people who've been playing for a long time. So they were just doing it to be silly. Let's be honest, and just having fun at playing a different one. So yeah, not that diverse a meta in comparison to normal weeks, but not necessarily the meta that you would expect either. So what's coming up then? Look, I've been saying you're going to get Armory Deck League posts for a while now, and I've not been delivering, and I don't think we'll do this week either. So it'll probably be after this week for that one. Look, my barber friend, he has bought a box of Super Slam and asked if I would like to do an unboxing video. So maybe you'll see one of those coming up. And I really need to put the video together for the Armory Guide for Gaming DNA. It's a post I've already written. I just, in inverted commas, need to record and edit the video for that. I've got bits of it all recorded already. Look, I know normally there's 0 evidence of any editing that goes on, but for the Armory Guides, I am videoing some bits actually at the store. And so I'm trying to do some editing for those ones. So do definitely try on that one, because yes, you're quite right. These ones are very rarely actually edited. It's just straight off the cuff. So please do like, share, and subscribe if you have enjoyed the Fab journey. And we will catch you next week. It won't be 3 Armories this time. Yeah, we'll be scanning it back. Yeah, don't want to be burning quite so much petrol, but yeah, still enjoying playing in the flesh and blood.